The 14th.
I am the 47th most beautiful comic book podcasting host under the age of 50 that has a Norwegian squirrel puppet. True story.
Hey guys, real quick before we start, I just got a pop-up that says unsupported browser. This studio has local recordings enabled, but iOS Safari on your device is not supported. Please use the StreamYard app to continue. Do I need to like? Okay, so I don't have the StreamYard app on my iPad. So
no, don't worry about it. We should be good.
Okay. Well, hopefully this pop-up. Okay, it's going.
Okay.
As long as you can hear me.
Is the one obvious thing.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. I see we got a bunch of new people watching, so make sure you tune in. And looks like somebody's playing the music. Is that true? No. What is that? Anyway. What's going on? Hold on.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy Tuesday. I'm Carrie. I'm all of a sudden on here. I have Hinata joining me tonight, so if you hear some purring, that's what's going on there. And Radioactive's here to say hi as well. And we have an amazing show coming up with some awesome news. We have Variant Watch again tonight. And let's send it over to Jar Jar.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I'm here. Carrie's here, Leo's here, and we have a guest here. So I'm going to swing it on over to Drew so he can introduce them.
Oh shit, this is on. Hi everybody. That's how I just sip my water. Hello everyone. It's Tuesday, so you had nowhere else to be, so you're here with us, and we appreciate it. We've got the whole gang here. We got a lot of news, some laughs, some good times. Whoever it is, I hope you're having a good night too. And we have a great guest here. He's a fantastic creator who I keep running into, and for some reason he keeps saying yes to interviews. So thank you. He's a writer. He's been an inker on some fantastic runs within the DC comic world. He also most recently just had a Kickstarter that was recently funded. So hey, good job there. Everybody, the 14th most handsomest creator, the one, the only, Keith Champagne.
Yay!
Whoa, my eye was just really big on the screen there. That was scary. Hi, guys.
There you go.
Nice to see you all. How come I only see myself? Shouldn't I see you right now?
Oh, yeah, now you do.
There we all are.
I'm controlling the cameras in the background, and I apologize. I was getting feedback, and sounds like I was the only one that could hear it. So I was able to stop it, and
yeah.
like a
I
5
have
second
that
delay.
problem sometimes too, Leo.
Hearing
The
voices, yeah.
voices get loud, and all of a sudden you got to check all the microphones.
Yep. Yeah,
Are we
it's
sure
one of
it's a
those days
microphone
where
problem? Or?
it's one of those days where it's like, hey, it's been such a week. It's only Tuesday. Shit.
Done.
So,
Hey, Dennis, what's up, buddy?
so yeah, everybody. So we have Keith here. Keith, this is everybody. It's not just me on the show. It's everybody here too. So yeah, someone else talk, please.
All right,
Huh.
I'll get right into it. You just successfully got a Kickstarter all funded and everything. Why do you choose Kickstarter itself beyond like one of the other many creator indie?
Oh, that's not the right one.
Nope, that's
What's that
not the
matter?
right one.
It's not.
But I mean, that was one. I mean, I can still answer that question. There's a few reasons why I choose Kickstarter. Probably the most important reason to me at this stage of my career is there's just a complete lack of bullshit with Kickstarter, as opposed to trying to pitch a property to one of the companies, and then them taking 9 months to a year to read the pitch and go back and forth on the pitch, and just it's like walking through quicksand, trying to pitch stuff sometimes. So with Kickstarter, you can put a book up there, and within 30 days, if you have a viable project or not. The audience decides to go straight to the reader, and they tell you if this is something that's worth making or not. Really,
Yeah.
I do it a little different in that we finish all our books first, and then try to recoup the expenses on Kickstarter afterwards.
Oh, that's fantastic. So after funding is done, books go right out, huh?
Yeah, we try to
There you
fulfill
go.
within. There we go. We fulfill within 30 days every time. That's our.
Oh, no kidding.
Trying to do things the right way. Yeah, because so many Kickstarters, they'll fund, and then 14 years later, the book hasn't been sent out.
Which sometimes is a surprise.
Yeah.
No, really. I've gotten stuff from funding Kickstarters like probably a year and a half to 2 years later, and I'm just like, I forgot he even did that.
I do the same thing. Like I get stuff in the mail, and it's like, what is this? Oh yeah, this was a year ago. But I like to, I want people to read the stuff that we're doing. So I like to get it out quickly, and trying to build the audience for these projects. And then the other thing I was going to say about why Kickstarter is that, in terms of the lack of bullshit, I don't have editors who really don't know what they're talking about, trying to impose their ideas on my property. And I don't have companies trying to own a piece of the property in exchange for publishing it. So it just gives us complete control over what we're doing. And I feel like I've put in my time in this industry over 30 years. And now I just want to make the books that I want to make for the most part.
Oh, absolutely.
How much time would you say it takes to produce one issue?
Well, it depends. It's a little slower because I have to do it around the work that actually pays me.
Yeah.
But so this project here that we're looking at, The Jump, this took about a year to do the first issue. But now that it's funded, it's going to be on a 6-month schedule. So in June of next year will be the Kickstarter for the second issue, and then in December or January will be the third issue. And it'll be a 4-issue series. So it'll be in the rotation now.
Right.
Publishing schedule.
And does this connect with your other universes like Daybreak and such?
It does, yeah. This was if readers will find out how this connects in the third issue. But there is an unexpected connection to Daybreak, which is also connected to our book, The Switch. There's been some character crossover between Daybreak and The Switch already, and nothing is. I'm not building like a restrictive world here where the continuity is the most important thing between books or whatever. Like it doesn't matter that much, but It is a shared universe, and it's they have to keep these characters kind of moving in and out of each other's lives a little bit, just to keep keep them in the reader's attention.
Now, for readers, so for readers that want to jump into your older books, what's the easiest way for them to get a hold of them?
Oh, that's a good question because we have yet to get a website up and running for this stuff.
Ooh.
I guess, contacting, so the publishing company is called New Pain Productions. It's New Pain Pro on Instagram. And I guess the best way to do it is just to send a message to the Instagram page for New Pain Pro.
Mhm.
And then someone, it'll probably be me, will handle that. And
I
we
love the
have a
name, by the
website.
way.
Oh, thank you. It's
Yeah.
my partner Tom Nguyen
Yeah.
and I, Keith Champagne, combined our names to make New Pain Pro.
Nice.
But we do have a website. We just have been too busy to ever really get it set up properly. But that's something that's on our list for the new year.
Okay. So I had a question just to kind of shift gears a little bit because your career, like you said, 30 years, that's definitely a lot of the highs and lows of the industry since then. And you've also worked on a lot of books that had long runs. Like when I think of the thing I met you first with was, you did a lot of work for Jeff Johns' run of Green Lantern. So when it's a run, I mean, is that essentially, is that job security? And then kind of in terms of that, what are the pros and cons of such a thing? And I guess a third question would be, when there's more than one inker, or on a book, how does that work? Do you guys just kind of like each do your own thing?
In terms of like style, do we each do
Yeah.
our own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think basically in terms of style, we each do our own thing. With job security, like on Green Lantern, I really, that ended up being a long run, but I was never. Well, there was a brief time when I was the primary inker
Mm-hmm.
because I was the fastest of the bunch of us that was working on the book, so I could handle the most.
Right.
But I would never know really from issue to issue like how many pages I was going to get the next issue,
Mm-hmm.
or even if I was going to be involved in the next issue. So there was no security that way.
Okay.
I kind of assumed I'd be, as long as Monkey was drawing the book,
Right.
because Doug and I, we work well together. I knew I'd keep getting paid, but it was never like set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I never tried to mimic anyone else's style. My inking style is closest on that group of people to Christian Alame, who's way better than me. But we're both brushy inkers. And then, like Mark Irwin was another guy pitching in. He's more of a nib inker.
Mm-hmm.
But we all did our own thing. And Doug is so easy to work with.
Yeah.
He's very, like just do whatever you need to do to get the book done in time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading the book that he has doing with Jason Aaron right now, Batman Offworld, and his style. I mean, I remember reading him in The Mask, Green Lantern, all that. I mean, the style is still just fantastic.
Yeah, he's
And
amazing.
and I also have to compliment you. The way I remember when I first met you, have a very unique signature. I think it's like you draw like a champagne bottle with 3 bubbles, at least.
Yeah, I draw a champagne flute. And the glass is half full, and there's 3 bubbles
Mm-hmm.
coming out of the glass.
Yeah, because
That's cool.
I remember when I first met you, you were doing a signing. I think it was like a free comic book day. It was like out on Long Island, and I was really excited because that was the first time I had met you, and I had Ghostbusters Other Side, an issue for him, and I also had like I think pretty much everything you did on Mankey's Green Lantern, and you pounded them out like a champ. But at the end, it's like, okay, wow, it's been a minute since I've done that. Hold on, I think I'm cramping. A lot of champagne. I was like, yep, thank you, sir. Yeah.
I remember going to Long Island. I don't remember my hand cramping, but if you say so, I think my son was with me that day. My oldest son too.
Yeah.
And he sat there and drew penises all day because he was bored.
Well, man, what are you gonna do? Dad's working,
Well, just real
Yeah.
quick, we do have a bunch of people watching. So if you have questions, please get them in. And we have one that just came in. So here's to the next chapter is asking, how many different styles of inking are there? I had never thought of styles of inking before.
Oh yeah.
I think there is as many different styles of inking as there are inkers, really. I mean, your ink line is more or less like your fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a very unique part of how you express and interpret the artwork that you're working over. I mean, there are definitely schools of inking, like Scott Williams. A lot of he's very influential. A lot of people, like Sandra Hope's a great inker who's very much in the Scott Williams school.
Right.
There's the whole early '90s image style of inking,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole like subgenre. There's the Wally Wood brush inking or the You know,
Right.
I love the Mark Farmer kind of, very slick, controlled brush inking
Right.
with a little bit of pen work in there. But yeah, like I said, it's like a fingerprint. I can't really ink like anybody else. Sometimes I've just asked me like, hey, can you do a little bit more like this guy here? And I'm just like, sure, no problem at all. And then I just go and do my thing. And then like, oh yeah, that's great. Thank you for doing that.
I've heard that so many times from artists. They're just like, yeah, they'll be like, come back with this and this, and they come back, do the exact same thing. They're just like,
Well,
oh yeah, that's
and
exactly what we
and
want.
I always find it so funny because, I have a theater background, and I was always told that there's no such thing as a small part. And I feel like a lot of times people focus on the writer and the on the artist, which is fine. I mean, they contribute, but then other parts are just as equally important, like the inker, the letterer,
Mm.
things like everybody plays a part, even depending on the editor. There, you guys all play a part in making a book great.
I had no idea that a letterer actually went in and did all the lettering by hand. Just
They used
not
to.
any. Yeah, you used to, not anymore. But like that blew my mind. Like
Oh yeah,
that's some work.
Well, what they do is they had like stencils
Hmm.
so the letters would be the same every time, but they'd either dry brush or wet brush, or depending on, like, say, your preferred style, go through and then put a dot, measure the dots like you're doing.
right.
But yeah, back before they had the computers and everything, they would have to go through and hand do. I've just become really fascinated with letterers recently, so
Mm.
She has. She's
it,
working on a
it's kind of
masterclass.
crazy.
So,
Yes,
no,
really
yeah, but
soon.
it's what I'm just saying is I feel like, again, you guys should also like get love. And it's funny because I do see like you people, Scott Hanna who's a great, another good inker industry, a lot of Spider-Man stuff there, and a few others. Like I've met Scott Williams, is a great guy, very friendly, and a few others. But I think sometimes I'm like, no, you guys got to give them cred. Like, don't get me wrong, the pencils are dope, but the ink and the colorists, they really make the image pop
Well,
even that much
yeah,
more.
it changes things even from your pencils to like having ink, then throwing color on top of it. It can change a whole
Oh yeah,
piece of art.
completely. And both good and bad. I mean,
Yeah.
what people got to remember with inking is I erase the pencils when I'm done. Those pencils are gone. You're
Right.
not seeing the pencils anymore. You're seeing my interpretation of the pencils, which consists of like 1,000 tiny little edits on
Mhm.
every page, both major and minor in some cases. And then the other point I was going to make, I forgot, so never mind.
God damn it.
I
If it
got
comes to me,
a
I'll bring it up.
strange question. During researching you, I
Wait,
found
I
out.
remember what I was going to say.
Okay, go.
Oh,
Jeremy, go,
I
stop.
was just going to talk about the coloring. I'm sorry, Jar Jar, to interrupt you.
oh, no worries.
And the coloring for sure can influence, the way the art looks when it's published. Sometimes I found coloring is like it's like looking at the Sistine Chapel, the beauty they bring to this stuff.
Mm,
And there are other times when it's so saturated, you really can't even see the line work underneath the colors anymore, and that's very depressing to put in so much work
yeah.
and then just have your work not really even be able to be seen. So it
Yeah,
can go either way, But yeah, it definitely has a huge effect. You're seeing a real collaborative team effort on every page that you look at.
right.
Well, I was going to say, during researching you, I discovered that you actually had an idea for Joker Year One,
I did, yeah.
before Chip Zdarsky, but they never went with it. What happened?
So I'm
Or
I'm
do
so
they even
pissed
tell
off
you?
about this. No, I'm so pissed off about this.
Oh,
And nothing at all against Chip Zdarsky, who I'm sure is completely unaware that
probably
there's a
has
Joker
no
Year One
idea. Yeah.
project. Yeah, and it's not him. But it was something that Doug Monkey and I were producing for DC a while back. I had written, it was a prestige format series, Joker Year One. It's a direct sequel to Ed Brubaker's The Man Who Laughs.
Right.
It takes
I was
place
going to say, with Mankey worked on with him. Right.
Yeah, it takes place like where that one leaves off. Our story is next. It's the story of the Joker's first time in Arkham Asylum,
Oh, okay.
and so we had produced most of the book. I wrote it. Doug penciled it. Christian Alamy was inking it. It's still beautiful stuff. I look at it to this day sometimes. And then Doug was moved off to finish some other random book that they needed him for, and just
Mhm.
was never allowed the time to get back and finish our book.
Hmm.
But so Doug and I always kept in touch on it because we bullshit once in a while anyway.
Right.
And so as this new Joker movie was coming up, we were like, "Hey, let's go to DC and see if they'll finally let us finish this thing." And they got a project to put out to coincide with the movie.
Right.
So I went back and forth with DC about it, and eventually they were just like, "Hey, we're just gonna pull the plug on this and cancel it once and for all." So then, lo and behold, 3 months later, there's Joker Year One by Chip Zdarsky, which is really like a kick in the nuts for me.
Yeah.
And only
Yeah.
for me. I'm the only one that cares. But it felt very disrespectful to me from DC, and not that they care either, but it was a twist of the knife.
No, and it's funny because I've talked to other creators about projects, and like ones that they similar to you, like they had all the creative guns, they had a story, they were ready, they were in, and big companies like, funny enough, a lot of these stories involve DC. DC's like, no, we're good, we're not gonna do that, and I'm just like, this is unique and original, it's gonna be beautiful, it's of a fan series, but they're like, no, we don't think doesn't have the, and I'm just like, why do you do this? It could be beautiful, but you're so ugly. Like, ugh.
I feel
It's
your
just-
pain, buddy. I feel it.
Yeah, it's just
Probably
just
more
like-
so.
I want to give you money, but you're not worthy of the green. Yeah.
I
Okay.
notice in the Kickstarter and a lot of your books, do you have a love for primates or some kind of? There seems to be a lot of apes around.
You know what? You're the first person that's ever asked me that.
Oh,
And
Job, John.
yes, I do. I have a serious fetish for Gorilla City in the DCU.
oh, nice.
That's
Okay.
always been like I've always wanted to do like a Watchmen set in Gorilla City, like a real
Oh,
Do
deep
it!
dive into that place. Yeah.
Oh my
I know
God,
DC's
do it.
Gonna chomp at the bit right now, but no, yeah. So I love all those old covers that would have monkeys and gorillas on them.
Mhm.
When DC did that jail ape thing like about 20 years ago, I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And so I try to work in, cybernetic gorillas or chimps or whatever into these books
Mhm.
where I can, because they're my books and it's my company. No one can tell me not to. So if you don't like it, fuck off.
Boom.
There
Why
you go.
not? Right?
yeah.
But I do think they always add something to the project. They're always like a nice addition to the story, as these background characters that have a lot of personality or just fun and interesting to look at. I'd like to do it too.
I love a good talking ape in any story. It really brings
Oh, yeah.
a certain joy to it.
Do you see the preview for the new Planet of the Apes flick coming out next year?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
pretty
I'm all over
stoked
that
about
one.
it. Yeah.
I'm all over that one. Yeah.
And then don't forget, Marvel is doing that prequel series, Beware
Oh,
of
yeah.
Planet of the Apes, which is supposed to take place before the original movie. So that's supposed to, I guess, flesh out some things. And I was like, oh, okay. That's cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
yeah.
I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah. Well, I had another question because, again, I'm trying to avoid, because we've talked about Other Side more than enough, so I'm trying to avoid that. One of the other books that I realized that of yours that I own, I don't think I had got you to sign it, so next time. You did Countdown Arena, which is a short little miniseries taking place during Countdown, which, as much as they tried, wasn't exactly 52. But I really enjoyed it. I'm a big multiverse fan. So you had Monarch organizing these little battles of different versions of characters trying to build his own little army. So did that take a lot of research, or did you just kind of sit down like, who would win? You putting this Superman and this Superman in, or how did that all work? Because you had a lot going on in that one.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack with that project. Really, that project took a lot of heat, and that Countdown wasn't very well received. It was sort of creatively flat, I think, and through no fault of anyone that wrote it. And it had some beautiful art, but it was very dictated from the top down
Right.
as to what needed to happen. And same thing with Arena. Like, I had some latitude in terms of what characters I wanted to use, but it was a lot of
Mhm.
back and forth with DC to figure out like which 3 Batmen, which 3, there weren't even 3 Blue Beetles, so we had to make one up, that
Hmm.
kind of thing. And then they had a fan vote, like who should win these battles, which was like through the DC forum at the time. But I don't
Right.
know why they had the fan vote because it didn't matter. Like it's like those votes weren't counted or anything. It was just, I
Right.
think, a way to engage people in the project. But and then there was a lot of notes that needed to be hit in that project. But the end of the battles were pretty much left to me. So I was able to decide who was going to win, and basically my favorites were the ones that won.
That's great.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, the one scene that I think, being a horror fan, stuck with me was during the Blue Beetles scene, where the one that was just the swarm of Blue Beetles from, I think it was like Earth 26 or something. Like it literally ate 2 of the beetles, and I think it was the one beetle yelling that someone needs to finish his work before he dies. Like I was like, holy crap, this got real. This got really real, real quick.
Yeah,
Like again, you think, okay, Batman fighting Batman, fine. Superman, but I was like, oh man, this is really playing hard to get. Like this is nuts. I was like, man, Monarch is not kidding around, man. He is for real. And
yeah.
like,
I had it was a lot of fun to write. Like that Blue Beetle you mentioned, the one that was a mass of beetles. That's the one that I created for the
oh, nice.
series. So of course he's going to win because I created him. But like I managed to sneak in Doc Manhattan in that series. He's in the background at one point. I always try to pull little things like that when I'm working on those properties.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I had fun, and as much as people, I can't say it was universally loved, but I
Mhm.
think, and this is sort of arrogant of me to say, but I think with a different writer, it would have been universally hated.
Oh wow.
So I feel like I made that book as good as it could have been at that time with all
Well-
the interference going on from above.
Well, one more thing, because I did do a little research as well, so I have my notes. I just want to say thank you for creating a gorilla Starman. Being a big Starman fan, and I was like, because I didn't realize, I was like, wait a second, there's like one of the Starmen was a gorilla who had a star rod, and I was like, I should have realized, Jar, you're right. He really does love his apes, man. Like
the seeds go deep, right? The seeds go
Ye-
deep.
yeah, I was just like, I was thinking about it, and I was just looking at my star rod in the corner. I was like, no, that works. That tracks. Like, welcome to the multiverse, bud. So definitely. So
Well,
all right.
you speak about interference from the top, and for those that know your background, you definitely had your fair share of that issue. I don't know if you want to go in depth of what you experienced with Superman, but the question is, how often does that happen? And still being in the business, like, have you heard, has DC lightened up on that? Are they still as heavy as that?
I don't know what the attitude is at DC now because I haven't written for them in a few years, and that's a deliberate choice.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, they're not calling me anymore either, so I guess it's mutual now.
Well, mainly like talking to other artists and whatnot. I don't if you've heard
Yeah.
anything through the grapevine.
I don't know. Dan DiDio was very top heavy with dictating what talent could be used, what talent was not to be used.
Right.
Very hands on in both storylines and creators and everything, and that was pretty tedious. You mentioned the Superman thing, which I assume is when they told me I can't have Superman punch anybody,
Yeah.
and change the ending of my story. And that took a lot of the wind out of my sails in terms of wanting to write the IP for the big two anymore. And but my career is littered with stuff like that, and also I've written so many books for DC that have never been published.
Oh, wow.
Like scripts galore. I probably, I even told the deal one time. I was like, you guys have paid me like $50,000 to write books that you're never going to put out. And he was like, well,
That's
yeah,
just
really?
crazy.
And I can't complain about it because I was paid.
Yeah, you got paid.
for everything, from Joker Year One to, JSA Adventures or whatever that book was. I
Right.
don't know. It goes on and on and on. Batman, Nightwing, all kinds of stuff. Green Lantern Corps stuff that I wrote, like
And
6 issues that never came out.
and and it's funny because when I first talked to you when we did that interview like 2 years ago, we talked about Other Side, and I have a special love for it because one of the first Ghostbuster comics I ever owned, being a fan. And then when I did the research, like I didn't realize that it didn't have, I guess, the greatest reaction. And I was like, why? Like, this is a great story. Like, they're taking chances. There's good humor. And it's good artwork. I was like, what more could you want? And it's just like when I was talking to you and I did the research and I know you had other ideas. And I was just like, wow, like I can only imagine, like you have all this enthusiasm, and then it just kind of, like I said, you just kind of, the wind just taken out of your sails. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'll put those in the containment unit for another lifetime or something, like it's rough. Like how, when you're faced with that kind of thing, and especially because you strike me as the kind of person who puts a lot of all in his stories, you're not just doing it for the paycheck. No, I was like, I love the story. I love comics. I want to tell these stories. How do you get past that?
I mean, it's part of being a professional, I think. Like, you just have to do the job at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard sometimes when stuff gets changed and your name is still on the book, and that the editor is not going to take the heat for this issue not being well received.
Right.
He's more or less behind. It's me that's going to take the hit.
Right.
And that sucks. But it's just part of the job. That's when it becomes work, I guess, in those situations. It goes from being a passion project to being work to get it done.
Right. Have you? Because I've read things, like I remember one of the people I interviewed, Ron Mars. He would have people come up to him because of what he was doing at that time with Kyle Rayner. People really didn't like it, and some people would come up and insult him or threaten him and whatnot, which is astounding to me because as much as I'm
for real
passionate about these characters, I'm like, they're still fictional characters. Like, like if I didn't agree with the story, I'm like, okay, well, I didn't agree with the story. I'm not going to walk up and like, you're a piece of shit. Like, how could you do that to my guy or my girl? Like, fuck you. Has that ever happened to you? Like people will, I don't know. Like I was trying to imagine someone being like saying that and then giving you a book and you just like, fuck you, Keith Champagne,
I signed their book as "Fuck Off, Keith Champagne."
There you go.
No, first of all, Ron has the best attitude about that stuff. Like, it just rolls off his back. He doesn't care at all.
That's true.
He's so great that way.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've only had a couple of times. I mean, one of them was with Ghostbusters, which I don't love my work on that book. That's the one I think I mentioned it before. I'd like a do-over on that property, and to treat it right and give it the respect that it should have had. Then also, I did a book called Apex Legends for Dark Horse last year, and boy, I've never had a community come after me as hard as those Apex fans
Really?
came after me. Yeah, they were like flooding.
That's
my social media.
That's after a video game, right, or something like that.
Yeah, it's based on a video game. It's kind of like Fortnite, where you run around and shoot other players. But yeah, they were very unhappy with just the depictions of these characters. They're very passionate about the way these characters look, and I think they expected the comic to be drawn like 3D computer animation, like they're used to in the game, as opposed to two-dimensional comic book art. But they were comments after hate comments and private messages on my Instagram, on Twitter, they were really coming after me. Yeah, they are pretty passionate for sure. And then my older son made the mistake of trying to defend me on my Instagram. He started commenting.
Oh, no.
Started, going
no,
after
you don't
him.
feed the trolls, man.
Yeah. So
Let
I
him
started
go.
I was going back with them. I started having fun with it and just kind of making fun of them and stuff. And then Dark Horse was the publisher. They emailed me, like, hey, we need you to just take a step back. Don't engage with these guys. The Apex Legends company is really uncomfortable right now about this whole interaction. It's not your fault, but can you just not engage anymore? So I stopped.
You end up swatted by some of those gamer people. They're crazy.
I learned that.
I mean,
Don't give them your
So
handle.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just so crazy. Just when I hear these things, because I'm just like, guys, I mean, I understand the passion, but I'm like, Jesus, like, and kind of segueing into the book that we read your very brief story of adolescent
yeah.
radioactive black belt hamsters.
It was fantastic. But
Oh,
like,
thank
what
you.
the fuck?
And I know, again, it was a very short story, and you were reunited with Tom, who you do work very well with. So I have to ask, because I had no idea that this existed. Like, I was looking and I was like, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
And
I
I read it.
actually,
I was like, oh, we gotta, like, this is just too beautifully bizarre to read. And then reading the book, it was. Um, did How does this project land on your desk?
yeah. Good question, Drew.
So
And
there was an
did you
earlier.
know the project also beforehand?
Yeah, sure. So there was in the 80s black and white boom, there was a book called Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters by Don Chin and an artist named Parsanovich.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Ninja Turtle ripoff,
Right.
obviously with the title. You can kind of figure that out. But it was I loved it, and I noticed one day it was right around the time that I was writing Arena for DC, or maybe a little bit beforehand. I think I had just written 52,
Right.
or no, World War III is what I wrote for that.
Right. It was World
And
War III. Right.
Dynamite announced that they had gotten the rights to the Black Belt Hamsters. And I know Nick Barucci a little bit. I've written Xena for Dynamite. And so I emailed him immediately and said, listen, I'm the guy to write this book. Like, you have got to give me this book. Like, I campaigned for it. And so we went back and forth. And Nikki was like, if you're that passionate about it, then you're the guy to write this book. And they gave me the gig. And I had the best time writing this book. Like, I managed to get Tom to draw this, which was his first gig, penciling and inking a full series.
Right.
We have a great time working together. He's one of my best friends. That's a great shot of the Yeti's ass right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I could.
Oh boy.
But
Look
there was
at that Thanks.
It was I really overwrit the dialogue. I thought one of those words.
It wasn't that tough, believe me. I would have complained if it was.
He really. Anytime it's very wordy, he's like, "Oh God, this is like homework." I was like, "Yeah, but it's homework you love, though. Is it really work then?" So
yeah.
This was so much fun to read.
It was a joy to write. Like, in between, I don't want to say, I don't want to call comics serious or anything, but in between, more mainstream like superhero stuff, to go and write an issue of this was like such a great palate cleanser, and it was fun to try to write humorous. It was, everything about this book was great until the end, because it was going to be a 6-issue series. And then they got the sales numbers in as we were doing number 4. They got the sales numbers on number 1, and they were not, what Dynamite had hoped for.
right.
And so they gave me 2 extra pages at the back end of number 4 to wrap up the final 2 issues of story that I was going to tell.
That's why it seems so confusing at the end.
So it's very truncated at the end, yeah. But I tried to set it up so that we could continue it somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
And if they ever do want to continue it, like, I hope they call me, because I'd love to jump back into that world.
Right.
I just got the team back together by the time the book was ending,
Right.
So
Yeah.
You made it so
People
much
read
fun,
this
too.
and then get back to Dynamite and be like, God damn it, freaking get another issue of this out, because I need to know how it really ends.
Dynamite does a lot of Kickstarters. Why couldn't we do a Kickstarter through Dynamite?
Oh, exactly.
The continuation of this book here. I'm in, like, 100% if they want to do it.
Yeah, because it was funny. Like I said, I looked it up, and then I realized that there had other versions, like other parodies I didn't even know about, like naive interdimensional commando koalas, and preteen dirty jean kung fu kangaroos. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, there's just some sort of like, I was like, so if Captain Carrot decides to travel the multiverse and put together his own Avengers, this is the team? I'm like, oh boy. Oh, we're doomed. We are so
Yeah,
fucked.
there's a ton of those ripoffs, but I think of all of them, the Hamsters are like number two after the Turtles. I think Turtles
Yeah.
obviously the most well known, and I think Hamsters is the most successful of the ripoffs. And
So
not very successful, but
did you get to consult any of this with Don Chin? Did you run any by him? He was like, oh, that's cool. Or did he
yeah,
give you any
no,
pointers
Don,
or anything?
yeah, he didn't give me any pointers, but he read the scripts as I was going,
Mm.
and he was very happy with everything that we were doing. He had nothing critical to say.
Oh, cool. That's pretty
So
awesome.
I like
he,
how the hamsters were brought back. That was so fantastic. I was like, oh, this is gonna be badass.
I think
yeah,
the thing that I was really surprised at is that you had at one point they were dying, and you don't really see that a lot in a lot of traditional comics, where the main characters or what appears to be the main team, they die in the first issue. So I was like, oh wow, we're playing for keeps here. Okay, let's
They
see it.
died multiple times.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh wow, that is. But I will say this, not to put her on the spot, but I know the Jean-Claude Van Damme hamster was Carrie's favorite because
Yeah.
of the splits.
Yeah.
The splits.
Just like, oh my
These-
god, he's doing these
Funny.
splits in a bunch. He did it. He did it.
all the dialogue, that new generation of Hamsters, their dialogue is mostly just quotes taken from the actors
yeah.
that they're named after.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
no,
it
it's
doesn't
all
make any sense in terms of the context of the scene, but they're just spouting off quotes that I found on the internet for different actors.
Oh no, when
then,
they did the rock bottom, I laughed out loud. I was just like, there we go.
Yeah,
People's
that
elbow.
was a fun book. And there was a joke in number 3, I think it's number 3, which is about Clint, who's always like the most favorite of the Hamsters. He's the most hardcore one, where he comes back and he's sort of domesticated at that point in a bad marriage and working for this guy whose name was supposed to be Richard Gere. And we're gonna.
Oh my god! I just
That
got
would have
that
been
now.
hilarious.
Oh
then
my
Dynamite-
god! Because of the hamsters.
Yeah, and so Dynamite chickened out, and they're like, "No, we can't name him Richard Gere. We have to change that. We're gonna get sued for this."
Oh man!
They made me change it. That
Oh my
was, just having fun, like it was a great time.
Oh my god! Yeah.
With your love of apes, did you try to get an ape in with the Clint character?
I don't think I did in this book. No,
No.
I mean, if I did, I've forgotten
It
about
would have
by
been
now.
Leo. He can't talk about what would have been 5 and 6, man. They would have had a crossover at Gorilla City. It would have been great.
Maybe bring Clyde in for the rescue at the end. That'd be
Oh,
great.
Clyde from Any Which Way You Can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where my whole fetish starts with those movies.
Oh, there's
I mean,
Richard.
listen, Leo. It's not like we're not going to see Dunstan from Dunstan Checks Out anytime soon in this book. I mean, calm
No,
down.
we're definitely
You know.
not going to do Dunstan.
No, but it you know what it was? It's just comedy books. I feel like this you don't really see a lot now. Everything is just so serious, and it's like, okay, I get it. The stakes are pretty high, but I'm like, you can find the humor in colossal cosmo death matches. Like it's not everybody needs to be Spider-Man or Deadpool. Everybody can it be funny, or
No, and also have a good story behind it too.
yeah, exactly.
I
I
think
love
this
the
probably
slapstick.
was an important gig for my development as a writer, because I think this is the first time I started to sort of figure out what I wanted the comic book to read like, and to have
Mhm.
equal doses of humor and some real character beats and some action, like the whole ball of wax. I was starting to feel my own preferences for what I wanted stories to be in this gig. And I think
Do
that carries
you
over to the
still
stuff I'm
read?
doing now for sure.
Do you
I
still
still
read
what?
comics?
Not as
Do you
much
still
as
read them?
as I should.
Oh, okay.
I have
All right.
a giant stack of stuff that I got to get through at some point. Kickstarters I backed, and I think the last book I read was the first issue of the House on the Lake book,
Okay.
and I thought that was okay. It didn't knock me out, but it was okay.
Leo, we've shown enough. We want the people to read the book if they like what they're seeing. Okay.
They just read the whole book just from the
Yeah. Thanks, Leo. Spoilers.
I
You
went
know.
through fast enough. They need to go through
Well,
and
well,
really-
listen. Maybe if we advertise it enough, Dynamite will try to take Keith back, and he'll be like, "No, I'm good. I'm cool."
No, I would
You
do it in
know.
a heartbeat. I'd be in there again for sure. I would do it.
There you
for
go.
10
But
Hey, Nick,
you got to let me
Nikki,
do all my jokes, guys. If I say Richard
Nikki,
Gere's coming back, Richard Gere's
I'll
coming
be
back.
$10 a page, Nikki. I'll write it for $10 a page this time.
Oh
Just
boy.
get it back.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, so that was the book of yours that because I was like, I want something really different, and whatnot. And I read this, I was like, perfect. Again, Jeremy, as you know, doing the research helps.
It was great, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
So
you
it was
liked it, man. That's one I do get people at conventions. They bring me copies of that. It pops up now and again, and people seem to have had a good time with it. So I'm glad you guys liked it too.
Oh yeah. It's,
All right, back.
definitely a lot of fun. Carrie, I heard you trying to chime in there. Did you have a
I'm
question?
sorry, I cut you off, Carrie. Sorry.
No, we do it all the time here. No, I was just saying it was one of the weirdest things I've ever read, and I read a lot of weird things.
she reads a
But it
lot
was-
of weird things, man.
But it was awesome weird. I'm like the kind of horror off in the middle of nowhere mythos type of person, and so I get a lot of strange shit that comes across my plate when I'm reading things, and I gotta say, you do weird amazingly well. It
Wow.
was beautiful.
High
and
praise.
confusing.
That's
yeah.
that's great. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say.
Oh yeah, I'm making sure all my friends are learning about this and they're going to be reading it. So
You know what? I actually, guys, I think that's the first time I've ever heard Carrie say that to one of our guests. So high praise, man. Good for you. Look at you. Raise that glass of champagne, everybody. Yeah.
Well,
This
you
is
guys
water.
should definitely read
Coke Cherry.
Daybreak because there's some strange characters in that. There's a villain made out of cocaine.
It's true.
Oh
which
boy.
He's our version of
blows-
Sandman. He's made out of radioactive cocaine.
Yeah.
And if only you had a lead straw, then suddenly all that's his arch enemy.
What do you find most challenging about expressing your ideas to like an artist to get them like right on the page?
What do I find? I don't really find it challenging at all because I'm very not precious about the stuff.
Mm.
What I do, my writing process is I write in full script.
Okay.
And I usually, because I'm, a little bit of an artist too, is I will kind of roughly draw the book
Right.
as I go.
Storyboards.
Yeah, I kind of storyboard it. I work out the pacing visually for myself, and then I just describe that as best I can for the artist. With the dialogue, which is a joke in the beginning because I change everything as I go.
Right.
But I write in full script because that's the way I see the story in my head. And so I've got it down that way. And then I don't care really what the artist does with it from then on. I've told the story the way I wanted to. And then I embrace the collaboration. And it's the best part about working with an artist is seeing my imagination or my story filtered through someone else's imagination and their storytelling sensibilities. 99 times out of 100, whatever I get back, like Daybreak is a good example. Stefan Tashev is the artist. It's always better than what I visualized, as I wrote it. So I learn a lot, from the way that my scripts are interpreted. And then I try to apply it in turn to the way that I continue to write. So yeah, I don't find it challenging at all. I find it like a roller coaster, like a joyride.
Do you take the same approach when like having guys do variant covers and stuff? Just give them, here's the gist of the book and see what they come out with, or?
No, I just say, hey, look, draw whatever you want. Pick a character, do whatever you want. Especially with, because a lot of these guys, they get paid to do these variant covers, but they mainly do it as a favor.
Hmm.
you know. And so if I'm asking a friend to do a variant cover, I don't want to like nitpick them about it. Like just you know, find a character that you feel a hook into, or that it's going to be fun for you to draw, and then just do what you want. And it's better than if I tell them what to draw. Like there have been times when I've suggested a scenario, for sure, but for the most part, it's just, you know, go crazy.
It has to
Surprise
be
me is what I like to say.
easier. Sorry.
Has to be easier. What, Gary? Go ahead.
Oh, as an artist, since you have the talent to discuss what you want coming out from other artists, though, because I write, I can't draw anything past stick figures and stuff like that, and I'll go to ask somebody to illustrate something for me, and when I'm describe the whole thing, they're like, "Yes, I totally believe that you're a writer. You told me all about this character, but what do they actually look like? Can you tell me that? Can you describe that to me?" And I'm just like, "Well, I did because they're doing," and it's so. Do, I mean, from the perspectives, do you find it's a lot easier to directly tell people just what you want, or
Yeah, when it comes to
and
like
vice
the way
versa from
characters
you?
look, I will tend to do a character sketch, and then I'll give it to the artist. I'll do like a rough color sketch, and hand it off for a new character most of the time. And Daybreak, I haven't done that at all. Like that's all Stefan Toshev's designs, and he's a way better designer than I am for that stuff. But yeah, it's easier to just draw a quick picture than it is to write like mid-30s male, very muscular, ripped abs,
Oh, no.
scar on his cheek, you know, and try to describe it. It's just faster. And then and again, I'm not precious about it. If I give someone a design and they want to, you know, kind of interpret it their own way, great.
So I have two questions. So one, when you're writing, what are you listening to, like music wise? Are you
Oh,
listening
there
to
you go.
music? Do you have anything on the background? And the second thing is actually a follow up to something that we talked about when I said Terrificon. Would you like to do a Mad Libs?
In reverse order, sure. And usually, when I write, I try to work in silence because I don't like to be distracted. It's very immersive. If I'm
Mhm.
listening to anything, it's gaming with his
Ooh.
cousins on his computer. And
Oh,
he's
you just lost me
usually,
for a second.
yeah, it's usually my 13-year-old in the background slamming on his gaming desk and yelling to his cousins in his headset.
Okay,
That's my background music.
that's
See,
okay.
gamers are passionate. You got to watch out for them.
Yeah, man. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you three options, Keith. You let us know which one you want to do, and we'll just fill it out quickly, and then we'll read it. So, A Graveyard Bash, Are You a Vampire, and Dawn of the Undead. We don't have
Dawn
any
of the
gorilla
Undead.
ones. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. We'll live it. Let's do Dawn of the Undead.
Okay. So, all right. And let me know if you need a reminder of what a noun, adjective, or adverb is. Some of our guests weren't sure either.
Okay. I mean, what's an adverb again that describes a noun or something?
Yeah,
Describes
something
a
like
verb.
Lie on the end.
Yeah, Carrie, you'll be our word doctor.
Like you ran fastly.
Yeah. So all right. All right. So I'll start here. We have a few of them, and we'll just get this done. So just need a noun.
A noun. Just to make my sons proud, penis.
Got it. I added a weenus. Got it. All right. An adjective, please.
Adjective. Salty.
Did you say salty?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Right fast.
Yes. I need a place.
New Orleans.
Okay. All right. Plural noun.
Plural noun. Birds.
Many penises.
No. I need a different adjective.
A different adjective. Crumbly.
Crumbly. Okay. Plural noun.
Another plural noun. How about cars?
Do you say cards?
Cars, like you drive them around.
Oh yeah. Okay, got it.
Lightning McQueen.
Another adjective.
Boy, it's the adjective show, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot of adjectives in this one.
This better be funny.
How about? I'm drawing a blank. Hang on. How about?
If you want, we can have any of the others contribute an adjective if you're blanking.
How about depressingly?
All right, got it.
Just like our members are
Hold on.
watching.
Carrie, give me an adjective.
Canned.
Panned?
Canned.
Canned.
Like
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like
I should have thought
veggies.
of that one.
All right. I need a number.
12.
7.
Got it. Someone want to give me a plural noun?
Leo, you want to do it?
Plural noun.
Houses.
Houses. Dear God.
Gotta be close to be done.
Jar, give me another adjective. I can't have Keith do all these adjectives. He's drawing a blank.
Shit. Shittily.
Shit. Silly. Got it. You're just a regular Ginger Shakespeare, buddy.
Yep.
Keith, let me get a part of the body, plural. This would have been penis, would have been perfect, but we don't.
Yeah. Well, how about fingers?
Fingers. Okay. I need a verb ending in ing.
Bowling.
Oh, good one.
Okay.
It goes with fingers pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. I need a noun.
Carrie, you got one?
Horse.
Horse.
Of
Okay.
course.
Thank you, Mrs. Ed. Okay. I need a plural noun.
Jesus Christ.
I'm almost done.
Ever. Pencils.
Pencils. And because we'll end this with the last adjective of the night.
Who wants the last adjective? Jar Jar, you got something?
I can't believe I have to look around my room for an adjective.
Leo, do you have one?
Come on, somebody.
Carrie.
Just end the segment.
What? I'm Carrie. What was it?
Drippy.
Drippy.
Oh, nice one.
Okay.
It goes also with penises. So
Indeed. All right. So everybody, welcome to Splash Pagers, our collaborative Mad Libs with Keith Champagne. So, for Dawn of the Undead, we interrupt your regular scheduled penis to bring you some salty breaking news. A zombie outbreak in New Orleans is causing mass hysteria among the city's birds. The crumbly zombie attack, believed to have started early this morning, has claimed a growing number of cars. If you have any depressingly information on the whereabouts of these canned creatures, call your local 911. Be on the lookout for anyone with yellow houses and a shittily look in his or her fingers. Please note that these creatures make bowling sounds and walk on a trance-like horse when looking for pencils to feed on. Citizens are encouraged to stay indoors and remain cool, calm, and drippy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you, everyone.
if I was 8, I would have thought that was the funniest thing ever, right?
Right?
Indeed.
I mean, I'm still amused, and I'm 8 plus a lot. So
Well, I did say we were going to do a Terrificon, but I lost track of time, so I was like, well, he'll find that funny. So there you go. And see, kids, you didn't need to contribute to his Kickstarter to do that, but it helps.
No,
So.
you're more than welcome to, guys. If you guys want to check out my Kickstarter, we got a week left.
There you go.
I see. I thought it was already fully. It is fully funded, right?
I
thought it was already done.
We're going for the stretch goals now, so people want to.
What one are you up to?
We've unlocked the homage Spider-Man 300 cover.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
We're
saw that.
looking at trying to get free refrigerator magnets for everyone now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Now, how do you pick out these extended goals?
I
Like,
don't
where do
know.
you come up?
It's like trying
Did
to
you
find
want a
magic.
magnet?
Yeah, I mean, basically, like the magnet thing is like I got to thinking like maybe I'd like a magnet, so I'll make this a stretch goal. So if anything, I can get a refrigerator magnet. But a lot of it is I look at other campaigns and I just try to think of different things that hasn't been offered yet.
A friend of ours that does some indie comics, Carissa, she's done plushies and stuff like that. You think we could ever get a plushie of Snow?
I mean, yeah, that would be great, huh?
And make it cocaine scented.
Okay, cool, Jar. You need to go.
I'm trying to fill out the hour.
All right. Well, we've hit that time. So, well, Keith, thank you so much for coming on the show. And it's been really a blast talking to you about everything. Thank you so much for the time. And essentially, if anybody here liked what they saw and they wanted to reach out, check your work and stuff, how would they do that? How would people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Probably Instagram is the best way. Unless you're an Apex Legends fan, you can find me on at the Pretentious Keep Champagne on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then
Hey,
so right now your Kickstarter is still going for at least another.
last week. You know, it's the New Pain 2-in-1. We're offering 2 books. NPC Jump #1. The NPC stands for New Pain Challenge. Basically, the first issue, the line I've been using for this is it doesn't end in a cliffhanger. It ends with a brick wall. Like there's no way to continue to the second issue. But all the plot elements and the clues are there in the first issue. And there's an email address printed on the inside front cover. If the reader wants to take a guess, try to connect the dots and take a guess and gets it correctly, the first one that gets it right is going to be a character in the second issue.
Cool. That's
So
awesome.
That is
trying
really
to-
cool.
Trying to have a kind of an interactive, approach to the comic and engage the reader a little bit more. And then the second book in the Kickstarter is just a very simple collection of all the variant cover art that we've published the past couple of years. It's about 32 variant covers by all Big Two talent. And I didn't think it was a strong enough project to host its own campaign, but I think it makes a great addition to this campaign.
Oh, totally.
I love
so
that you're
if people-
putting them all together.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I'll make sure you get a copy.
Oh, trust me, we're well aware of how many variants the comic book industry is putting out. We even have a section in our show called Variant Watch.
Yeah.
Like it's Baywatch, but for variants. It's just
Yeah,
no,
cool.
It's they're a necessary evil, I guess. I don't know. I don't love variants, but
Yeah. It's a love-hate
people like them.
relationship.
So, and
Well,
then you got something else really cool, if you don't mind my mentioning.
Go for
Is
it.
our next campaign is going to be for the double-sized finale of Daybreak, which is probably
sweet.
my favorite thing I've ever done in my career. And that's going to be in January. And coming along with that, there's a studio. It's called Bewildered Biscuit Productions, and they're translating Daybreak #1 into a fully voice-acted motion comic.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to be able to offer that as an additional part of the campaign.
Oh, that's awesome.
These guys are all professional voice actors, and it's really, like, from what I've seen so far, it's just an amazing new way to experience that first issue. Hopefully,
Joe St.
we can get
Pierre
them to
did
do all
that.
4. Yeah, Joe
Joe-
did it. It's the same studio that did Joe's.
Oh,
Joe's
okay,
Oh.
cool.
It's crazy cool.
I
Like,
think
it's awesome.
actually one of the voice actors is in our
Uh,
chat. Yeah,
Diedrich,
Dennis
yeah.
Dietrich. Or
Yeah,
Dietrich.
or
Yeah.
Dietrich, yeah.
I'm
Nice.
really excited to see what they do with Daybreak, because it's been, very cool so far.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Oh, there they are right
We were
there.
like, whoa. Yep. You guys are awesome.
Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, all right.
I enjoyed the Joe St. Pierre one. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So-
sold me.
it's very
It really
idea.
sold me on the idea.
All right. Well, Keith, thank you again for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for taking the time, and we'll definitely keep an eye out for you when we're at a con that you're also at. And
And if
Uh,
you want to push your next Kickstarter, we're more than happy to have you on again.
well, on again,
no, that'd be
or
great. I'd love to
send
come
us
back
the
as well.
links. We'll post them on our pages to get up all that business. More funded, less anxiety and stress for you.
That's the goal, right? Less anxiety, less stress. Guys, I really appreciate it. This was a fun talk. I talked probably too much. Sorry about that.
You did great.
Wow.
Not at all.
You
Not
did
at
great,
all.
buddy. You were
The less we
fantastic.
talk is the better.
Yeah, you're going
But, you know-
places. Let me tell you.
I think I've been everywhere I'm going. I'm only going straight down. But yeah, I'd love to come back on, and we'll go deep some more.
Always
All right,
welcome,
man.
sir.
Very cool.
All right.
Have
Oh,
a good
Leo,
night.
don't forget to give the spiel about the recording.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So yeah, Keith. if it allows you, I know we had the issue in the beginning. When you pop on out, there's a leave studio button on the bottom, and it should pop you to a uploads page or a downloads page, something like that. If you do that, if you can just let it run its course, because we record everything separately. If it doesn't, no big deal. I can manage without it, but we chop things up afterwards.
Okay, I'll try not to mess around with anything.
Very cool.
Do its thing.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you, sir. You have a good rest of the night.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
See you later. That was excellent, guys.
Yeah.
Jari, you did a great job with those questions, my man.
You guys, we're a team.
Yeah. And Dennis and everybody else watching, stay tuned. We still got plenty of shows.
Yeah. Guys, stay put. We're entertaining as hell. Like, just give me a minute. Let me finish my water, okay?
Yeah. It doesn't end here. Although I wish I had more coffee. Oh.
You could make the coffee, but then if we're doing news roulette and your story comes up, we're gonna be like,
Oh yeah, right.
Or you just make a nice big thing of coffee,
yeah, make a big old bucket of coffee.
It's all the way downstairs. It's
Oh.
not in the room. I still have more coffee.
Yeah, Leo, you don't know what could happen if he goes down those stairs. He could trip. He could fall into a parallel dimension. You don't know.
It'll all be over.
It'll be over. He'll come back, Jeremy the Warrior.
We can get you a Masters of the Universe soup thermos, and then you can win the people.
You know what? You gotta get me. Get me one
Harry.
the size of my Boba Fett Stein.
Carrie,
but I'm afraid to use this as a drink, so it just holds my my Sharpies and pens.
Carrie, don't give him that idea, because you can just see him just sipping the cup and I have the power of caffeine. All right, you maniacs. Before we get to news, variant watch, all that stuff, anything new in your nerdy little worlds?
I'm up to issue 32 of Invincible. I don't know about you guys.
Talk to me when you're in the hundreds, okay?
I know, right?
Yeah, you got a lot to go, my man. You got to see the journey.
I'm doing about 10 a week, so I'll be there in about a year.
Listen, it's worth it. I read all of it last year. Even at 4 issues a day, it still took me a minute. So you do your thing, my man. It's worth it.
It's finalized, right? It's all done.
Yeah, it's all done. It's all done. But
I
it's
don't have to worry about
beautiful.
more issues coming.
Well, no, but you also have to find the crossovers. Like there was a
Adam Eve.
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they did crossovers with
they did crossovers, and then they also had little mini series like Invincible Universe Presents.
Mm-hmm.
So characters taking place in the Invincible Universe. Very brief, but still good.
I plan to be an Invincible head by the. I don't know if I'm sticking with that saying, but trying to become somebody as knowledgeable about the Invincible universe as possible.
Listen, I still got to watch the show. I need to like resolve myself when I have downtime. Just binge.
It's worth it, and they just finished the 2nd season.
Well, I know, but that's why I wait, because then I can just watch the whole thing in a straight shot versus I've got to wait for the next episode. No. I'm like,
Batman.
First half of the 2nd season. I apologize.
They're doing a little break.
Yeah,
my God, dropping the ball, my man.
Sorry.
And you know what? Before we get to picking on you, Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous, Drew. Thank you for asking.
You had Tim Jones on your show yesterday, right?
Yes, I did.
Well, was it yesterday?
No, it was.
Sunday. Sorry, my God.
It was Sunday. Yeah, last night was Tomb of the Terrible, and for the love of God, don't watch Thanksgiving. Oh, that was horrible.
Harry,
not on my list.
Wiped that day out of my brain. So yeah, but we had Tim Jones over on Sunday, with his So Doggone Miserable book being released. So
cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Got
to find out he was a stand-up comedian, and he'd been doing that before. And
I feel like we learn more about Doug. That just makes his just humble beginnings. Just as he used to be a musician, stand-up comedian. Like I'm like, my God, this guy is so humble. He doesn't let us know any of that. We have to dig.
He's pretty much a
Yeah.
door-to-door salesman now too, with all the phone calls he makes to get sour grapes out there.
Yeah, it's very getting those minutes. So.
Yeah, he was writing down where Friday and I are so that he can like pitch to the newspapers for us, try to get in. So that'd be cool. I don't know if you
Hey,
like if
nothing
you're
better
grab
than
him
I
and be
know
like,
that guy.
hey man, yeah.
I did that the other day at a comic shop. I was looking for Chris Campana's Spider-Boy variant.
Okay.
Unable to find that, but I did find the Red Goblin series he's working on now.
Oh, nice.
I know that guy.
I know that guy. He's cool. Know that guy. All right. Well, without ado, let's get to the news. That's
You're not going to ask me?
Leo, how are you doing?
Oh yeah. No. Leo's fine.
I don't care.
No. Leo, listen. I can summarize Leo Pond's life. It's a Blink-182 lyric. Work sucks. We know. Have Megan leave you roses by the stairs. Okay.
Work sucks. We know.
I enjoy my job. It's just it can be very hectic and crazy at times.
It's that time of the year, man. I think after Thanksgiving, the world is like, hey, you have anxiety? We're gonna pour fire on it. They're gonna douse some kerosene and light a match.
Yeah.
Go.
Such a dark gray world these days.
You know, one thing I do recommend though, we just binged Lessons in Chemistry.
Okay.
On
don't know that one.
It's on Apple. It's with Brie Larson from the Marvels.
No kidding.
And yeah, she's an excellent actor, and it's definitely
don't tell the trolls that.
I know.
Speaking of her, she's not in it, but her character is Scott Pilgrim. That new Scott Pilgrim series on Netflix is here. I've heard that's really good, especially if you're a fan of the movie.
Yeah, and it's all the original actors coming back to voice. So it
everybody. I don't think Brie Larson came back though.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was somebody else voiced Envy. But everybody else, and I'm like, yes. I love that movie so much. It's such a good movie.
So what was
the comic is weird. If you ever want to read a weird book, Scott Pilgrim. Like, whoa, strange. So
what were you saying, Carrie?
What was that show about that you were kind of talking about? You mentioned Brie Larson and it got derailed.
So.
Lessons in Chemistry.
Yeah, Lessons in Chemistry. It's based on a book. It's a tearjerker. You know, she's a scientist. It's takes place like in the 50s, where it's very anti female, and like they won't let her actually be a scientist and whatnot. And yeah, it turns into a whole thing where she starts a
women don't know
cooking show. It's of the times, type of show, but it's it was excellent show. I highly recommend it.
Okay,
but it is a tearjerker, so it's like
I love crying.
Yeah, well, there's this one episode where one of the main I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character that dies tragically, and then there's a whole well, I don't know the character, but there's a whole episode from the dog's point of view, and it's the dog talking about him trying to protect that person. And yeah, it's
that's a little different than what I thought from the dog's point of view.
Yeah, saying
that's
like
interesting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's talk about comics here.
Get to the news.
Not only news, but Variant Watch.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, let me present the screen.
Yeah, it's always a lot of variants. Oh boy.
I think 31.
And I do have to thank Carrie for getting all the images and everything organized. You did an awesome job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn from you guys how to go about this, because it feels a little daunting.
Jar, don't worry. If it's not a lot, it's fairly easy. Just
Well,
learn from them, my man.
Yeah, it's really just 3 issues. So the first one coming up, this here is I didn't write down the titles. Fuck.
Leo, I can help you. This is
Right. They're
DC's
not gonna-
sweater weather
Sweater
variant.
weather. Okay.
She's
So-
not wearing no sweater.
We know.
So Marvel Comics brings a cool twist to their heroes with the announcement of the Ski Chalet variant covers. These special editions showcase popular Marvel characters such as Captain America, Storm, and Spider-Woman enjoying wintertime activities. Much like their DC counterparts, these Marvel icons are depicted hitting the slopes and revealing...
Leo,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think you've got it twisted.
I do?
Yeah, DC is doing the variant.
Yeah.
These are DC's. The one you're describing is the one we've already discussed, which was back in September with the Ski Chalet.
Okay. Well, then, Drew, I think you copy and pasted the wrong one then.
I don't know if I did, but if I did, I'm so sorry, Sensei. But do you want me to kind of help you out here a little bit, buddy?
Because my notes are totally yeah.
Okay, cool. No problem. So what we have here, DC sweater weather variants.
I
8
thought
of
there
them
was
throughout
Harley and
February, because apparently that's the coldest month. So apparently you need to see this to heat you up. So literally working down February 6th, Pablo Villalobos variant for Birds of Prey issue 6, and Lyrics's variant for Fire and Ice. Then you got
Final
Bruce
Fantasy.
Wayne, Selena Kyle on Batman 143. Goddamn, look at the bat butt on February 13th. Then you have Green Lantern 8.
Sorry, that was Kevin Wada.
Very cool. Kevin Wada. What.
What a artist.
Yeah. Then you got Green Lantern 8, Sweater Weather variant by Tiago de Salva. And then 3 more will hit on February 20th. You've got Dick Grayson playing in the snow with Nick Robles's cover for Nightwing 111. Clark Kent, Lois Lane are indoors for Ariel Diaz's variant of Superman 11. Boy, that's a romance novel. And then you got Starfire, Nightwing, Beast Boy, Summer Fun for Dan Morris, piece for Titan 8. And then you have the winter theme variant cover, which is Laura Braga's cover for Power Girl issue 6. Personally speaking, the Dan Mora one is my favorite. I just love his work. And you just passed. Yeah, I love his work. And by God, those are all great, especially Beast Boy as a penguin. How could you hate that? Look how cute he is. You know? So, yes.
I kind of like Nightwing making the snow Nightwing symbol.
No.
But instead of like
his
doing an angel,
undies.
you know, he's got the thing. Oh, yeah. He's always in
I
his
don't know.
undies.
So I just when
Showing
I
his
learned of
bat
this,
wing.
I was like, because I know, like we talked about earlier, Marvel did the sweater weather ski chalet thing, and I was like, it would make sense that DC would come back. So no problem with the assist, buddy. I'm sorry if my notes gunked you up. Keep doing your variant watch, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so let me bring it back up here, and please correct me if I am wrong.
I got you, bud.
Okay, so in celebration of their 30th anniversary, Marvel Comics will feature a stunning Marvel Masterpiece 3 artwork by the brothers Greg and Tim Hildebrandt on a new line of variant covers throughout next year. These covers will also be available in Virgin variants starting in January and continuing throughout the year. Fans have a glimpse of what's going to come with January's previews and can now look forward to February's editions, which will highlight characters like Cable, Night Thrasher, in anticipation of the new solo series on sale February 7th through the 28th. First one we have is Fantastic Four number 17. Then we have Cable number 2.
Right.
Ooh.
Sensational She-Hulk number 5.
Nice.
Night Thrasher number 1. And then Spider-Woman number 4.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the Cable one and the She-Hulk.
They all
She-Hulk
look
looks
great.
very defined.
They all look great, in my opinion. So, you know.
Very cool. And
Yeah.
that was the brothers Hildebrandt.
Yes.
If anybody's interested. And let me
Not
bring
to be confused with the Brothers Grimm.
Nope.
Okay, this last batch. So at the Avengers Twilight Retailer Conference,
Mhm.
writer Chip Zdarsky and Marvel's VP Executive Editor Tom Brevoort gave attendees a sneak peek into the enigmatic and expansive upcoming saga. The exclusive showcase included unrevealed covers. Sorry, did I screw something up?
I was going to say, Leo, I'm sorry, and again, I really do apologize. My notes were not clear about it. What you're describing is, I believe, the variant for Thor, which we saw for the Avengers Twilight.
Oh, I
which is
screwed it. Okay, yeah, sorry. What the
Yeah,
hell
this
is
is
wrong with
these are the Stormbreakers doing
Stormbreakers?
celebrating.
Nope, that's all me. I apologize.
Bro, just
Jeez. You know,
it's okay. This is still new. Remember?
yeah, it is. It is. It is. Okay, we'll figure out a way to keep this more organized. So
You're scaring Jar Jar.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm like, if Leo can't do it, what about
yeah.
me?
Okay. Here
Oh
we
my
go.
God.
Here we go. Okay, so so just ignore the last thing I said.
Mhm.
Marvel Comics is set to commemorate the 20th anniversary of their Stormbreakers program in 2024, honoring 2 decades of promoting the comic industry's most influential artists. This
Mhm.
celebration will begin with January Stormbreaker variant covers, where the current Stormbreakers class will honor the inaugural Young Guns class.
Right.
The month will showcase a series of pinup pieces by these top tier artists featuring Marvel's leading characters. These pieces will come together to form a single spectacular jam piece reminiscent of the original Young Guns collaboration in 2004. So there
Yep.
you go, Jar Jar. A connecting cover.
I
Sounds
like that.
yeah, Marvel enthusiasts can view the complete jam piece along with the individual character covers on sale January 3rd through February 21st.
Mhm.
And the first one we have here is Avengers 9 from Lucas Warnick. And then, how come you're not moving forward? There we go. Cable number 1 by CF Vita.
Mhm.
Captain America number 5 by Jan Bazaluda.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Edge of the Spider-Verse number 1 by Chris Allen. That's
Mhm.
Resurrection of Magneto number 1 by Nick Klein.
Mhm.
Spider-Gwen Smash number 2 by Alina Casagrande.
Mhm.
And then Spider-Boy number 3 by Federico Vicentini.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
He's so little.
what's that?
Okay.
He's so little.
It's a boy. It's a spider boy. Yeah.
I know.
Nice. I
Yeah.
mean,
Which
And the last one we have is Wolverine number 42 by Martin Coccolo.
that's an
Mhm.
interesting look on the mask.
Yeah.
well, it's really nice that they're showing that tribute. I mean, Young Guns has had some of the earliest work of people who really did go to become really big in the industry with when it came to Marvel. So it's really nice that they're doing that tribute, but also still kind of keeping the spirit alive. So hey, we're not going to. Stormbreakers isn't going anywhere. So hey, more power to you guys. Keep it up.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now we get to Avengers Twilight.
Yes.
Okay. So Avengers Twilight. So they had a retailer conference. Writer Chip Zdarsky and Marvel's VP Executive Editor Tom Brevoort gave attendees a sneak peek into the enigmatic, expansive upcoming saga. The exclusive showcase including unrevealed covers, fresh interior art, and design sheets providing glimpses for the future Thor, as well as new allies and foes of Captain America. This goes on sale January 10th, and the covers are by Alex Ross
Yep.
and Daniel Acuna.
Yep.
Ah,
So
So,
you got the Cap one.
yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on, it's Alex Ross. So you got Iron Man.
That one was gorgeous.
That's
It's a lot
Acuna's
of-
work.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then that's the Thor.
This really makes me Thor.
Wow, that's beautiful. I don't think that's a Cuna. I know that artist. I just definitely don't think that's a Cuna, but God, I think that's Simone Bianchi. Yeah, that's right. And then yeah,
these are the inside sheets. Looks like
nice. They're beautiful. And that's the older. We've talked about it. That's the older Kamala Khan costume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay.
I like concept art.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I mean, listen, we've talked. I think every week there's been something new from Avengers Twilight. Chip Zdarsky is really building it up to be a big story, and honestly, considering what he's done with Marvel, and his time more as a writer, I say, hey, more power to you, man. Especially since these audiences are getting really fickle. Like Avengers Inc. The series Avengers Inc. that was supposed to be an ongoing series, they're ending at issue 5 because the sales haven't been good.
I wonder how low sales have to be where they're like you're discontinued, because I know comic sales aren't especially great right now.
Yeah, but all I know is I was reading about that, and a fan was like, "Oh yeah, I really love this book," and I forgot who the writer is for that, but I know the artist is Leonard Kirk, and he was like, "Yeah, I really wish we had more." He's like, "Thank you, really wish I had more of you because we've been told our last issue is issue 5." I'm like, "Damn, that sucks, man. That is that's sad." But
I'm hoping a friend of ours, DG Chichester, is doing going to get his full series out, because I went to the comic shop this past weekend. Once again, could not find Black Armor on the shelves. I was just like, that's
right.
pretty good for him.
Yeah,
Sucky
right.
for me, I got to go to eBay.
All right. Well, I know Dan will appreciate that. So, all right. So, Leo, is that all for Variant Watch?
that is, and I'm just trying to find the comic sales for.
Oh God.
Avengers.
No. For let's see, our time. That's not getting.
Comicron.
Yeah, I'm in Comicron.
I always have trouble with that site, but I'm not exactly tech savvy.
Yeah, sorry. It's
If anybody who's listening, watching doesn't know, Comicron's a great great site. Is the only site that I know of to follow comic sales on, like in depth, and it goes all the way back to like, I want to say 1987 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Leo, we'll have to try it another time.
Yeah. My bad.
It's okay. It's all right, buddy. All right. So
the internet.
You guys should have let me know you were going to bring up comic sales.
I didn't. It just
sorry.
it just happens. We can't regulate everything, but then we lose our flow. All right. So let's start the news. Oh yes, this is me. This is a two-parter. So the first thing is J. Scott Campbell's variant cover for Ultimate Spider-Man issue 1, which, as we know, comes out January 10th. There's been a lot of buzz, especially about Peter and MJ being officially not only a couple, but married with kids in this universe. So only fair that J. Scott would get his shot doing another variant for that. Already looks beautiful. Love it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Check that out if you're a big J. Scott fan.
How many kids is Peter Parker rocking?
2. 1 boy, 1 girl.
Whatever happened to superheroes like protecting the people they love about, and not creating families and keeping their masks on, and I don't get me wrong, I enjoy that we're getting more interesting stories, but whatever happened?
Jar can't even answer that. Just times change. But also following up, is that they also released a trailer showing the real differences that we're rocking with this version of Peter Parker, which I believe is next connected to. All right, no, I guess not.
It's coming up.
Okay, but we'll cover that a little bit. But J. Scott Campbell cover January 10th. Check it out. Next
up is
Who has the Batman story?
that'll be you, Leo.
the way they have echoes over 89. I thought that said Batman and Anna.
No.
Batman. I like the cover though. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is. So this actually came out today, issue number 1.
Nice.
I had a chance to check it out. So DC Comics ignites excitement with the announcement of Batman 89 Echoes number 1. It's a direct continuation of Batman 89 universe. And as we know, that is continuity now. It's 789, I think.
I think so.
Universe 789. Because
Something
it's
like
also Batman or Superman 78.
Right.
Yeah. The original screenwriter of the iconic 89 Batman film, Sam Hamm, say that 3 times fast, returns alongside celebrated artist Joe Quinones to weave another chapter in the dark and gripping narrative of Gotham City.
Mm-hmm.
So after the events led by Harvey Dent, Batman has vanished, leaving Gotham vulnerable into the chaos. In his absence, regular citizens donned masks to battle the rising tide of crime, but their efforts come at a cost. As innocent lives are caught in the crossfire, Gotham citizens are left pondering one crucial question: where is Batman?
And Leo, just to also note that this is important because this was based on the abandoned project that would have followed, I believe it was Batman Forever, or would have been either Batman Forever or Batman and Robin, where we would have had the Scarecrow and we would have had Harley Quinn. And I seem to recall at one point that Scarecrow could have been played by Nick Cage, Carrie's favorite actor.
Yeah,
So-
and the storyline. So it says, with the original creative energy of the 89 film captured in pages of the new series, fans can expect to blend in nostalgia and fresh storytelling. Sam Hamm's writing combined with Joe Quinones' vivid artistry, Leonardo Ito's dynamic coloring, and Carlos Mangual's distinctive lettering promises to deliver a comic that stands out in the Batman canon. It's hitting shelves obviously today.
Right.
And one thing that was shocking is they confirmed that the woman that gets scarred in the 89 movie is actually Harleen Quinzel.
No.
Oh, are you talking about the mobster's girlfriend?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's nicely done. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Check that out.
Yeah. So if you didn't read Batman 89, looks like Gordon's daughter is now commissioner.
Okay. All right. Check that out, everybody. Oh,
And
a
then
nice
you have
tribute to
this
Keith
at the
Giffen.
end.
Yeah, this was the last page of the issue. I wanted to throw this in there. A nice tribute to Keith Giffen.
Yeah.
He looks so happy.
Yeah, that same energy.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
This fucking Lobo guy's standing behind me.
Yeah. And they got Ambush Bug in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Well, everybody, Batman Echo, check it out.
Totally. Yeah, hit your LCS, go there tomorrow because they're probably closed right now.
Yeah, probably.
Unless they're a gaming
Yeah.
shop, they might be open.
No.
Yeah, some of them do that where they
Yeah,
have
late-
the late night magic gathering and stuff like that.
Yeah, or Warhammer.
Yep.
All right. Next story. Oh, this
Oh,
is
for
one of mine.
comic book day.
Yes. So Free Comic Book Day news is already hitting the internet.
Yay.
So already, people are already freaking out about the stuff that we're going to see from Marvel, DC, Image, and stuff. But on May 4th, 2024, Marvel has 5 Free Comic Book Day titles. So you're going to have tie-ins to the next crossover Blood Hunt. We're going to find out some of what's going on with X-Men post-Krakoa era, what's new for the new Ultimate Universe. Me and Carrie are very excited, and more. But one of the things that we're definitely going to see them talk a little bit about is that the Green Goblin will be making his return in the page of Amazing Spider-Man issue 50. So this is before this story gets initiated in Amazing Spider-Man issue 50, Return of the Green Goblin. So we have to remember that there was a point where Spider-Man's favorite, probably if I think the greatest villain of he had, the Green Goblin's Norman Osborn, was redeemed for a time. I believe this happened during Nick Spencer's run, where Norman had essentially been cleansed of his quote-unquote evil, his sins. But it appears that his madness is essentially starting to resurface, and then following the current story, Gang War, Peter will eventually contend with his iconic cackling green-purple foe yet again. So Gang War, everybody. After Gang War, Free Comic Book Day, 2024. Check it out.
May the 4th be with you.
And check out that beautiful cover by Ryan Stegman, you know? Always does great work. So,
That's
yep,
pretty.
Yeah.
that's my news.
Awesome. Next up is Jar Jar with Planet of the Apes.
Oh, let's start with Planet of the Apes. Okay. In January, Beware the Planet of the Apes, #1 unveils a new chapter in the Planet of the Apes universe, penned by Mark Guggenheim and illustrated by Alvaro Lopez. This 4-issue limited series serves as a prequel to the influential 1968 film, offering a glimpse into the beloved characters like Cornelius, Zira, and Nova. Set in a world dominated by aggressive gorillas, the story follows scientists Cornelius and Zira, the only apes who recognize the value in the mute human race. When their nephew Lucius goes missing, they reluctantly turn to a human ally, a young woman destined to become Nova.
Right.
Guggenheim, fueled by his enduring fascination with the franchise, aims to capture the essence of the original films, filled with mystery, intriguing characters, and unexpected surprises. Marvel's history with Planet of the Apes dates back over 40 years, and with Beware the Planet of the Apes, the collaboration continues, exploring the storytelling limits of this iconic saga that has spanned comic books, movies, regular books, films, television series, video games, and toys over 5 decades.
Wow.
This is incredible, like for a franchise of this magnitude. It's like Star Wars, but different.
And it's also really nice that you have fans of the genre. Like, I was really glad that, like, some people don't even know about it. Like, Keith had no idea. And
Oh yeah.
and with his, his love of the primates, I feel like he's really going to get a good kick out of this. So
I'm with him too. I'm like really stoked for the new movie. Like I love a good trilogy and stuff like that. Like great stuff. And
When are
talking
they-
animals
When
gets
are
me
they
every
going to tie
time.
in the Marky Mark one?
okay, Leo, you need to get out. I own that. I wish I didn't.
I own it too. It's a
Paul-
great movie.
Yeah, Paul
No, it's-
Giovanni's in it.
Is it though, Leo?
Yes.
Is it? If you really sit
Yeah,
and watch it,
Yeah.
the only reason it's kind of good is because you got some stellar actors and because Tim Burton was doing it. But even Tim Burton was like, no. It's like, nah. So, but Leo, we'll talk about that later. There's so much news.
Just like burst in my bubble there. I get it.
Oh, this is Carrie.
Oh, I thought this was about me, the deviant.
You wish.
So, Image Comics has released a new holiday horror miniseries called The Deviant. It is being written by Eisner Award-winning comic book writer James Tynion
Tanya.
the fourth. James Tynion the fourth. I don't know why I'm having problems saying that. Probably because I got a cat that just.
I
attacked
say
me.
Tinian. I say go with it.
I say
Yeah, but
Tinian as well.
we need to work for 2024 on being better about saying people's names, because God forbid we ever meet them in real life and they're like, oh yeah, you're the fuckers who say my name wrong every interview. Screw you. I'm like, oh no. People are watching the show, yay, but no.
Sometimes it's a great icebreaker.
I don't
Well,
know.
Listen
Mr.
here, Drew Mulu.
Yeah.
Hey, Leo Poined.
Point.
Yeah. Okay, Sanderson, let's go.
All right. So Mr. Tom Nguyen is joined by artist Joshua Hickson and letterer Hassan Otsmain El How. And if
Oh
you
yeah.
correct me on that one, I
You
mean,
do
go
good.
for it. All right. So the whole thing is about back in the 70s, a man was wandering the streets, bloody in a Santa outfit, and they pulled him in and took him to jail and called him the Deviant Killer, which is somebody who had been running around doing atrocious things to young men. And now, 50 years later, a news reporter has started interviewing this man in jail who has maintained his innocence the entire time. And suddenly, as we're getting near Christmas, bloody crimes are coming up again and the axe is dripping. And so the cool thing about this is that it came out and the issue 1 sold out, and it's November 15th release already. So they're reprinting it and it will be re-released along with issue 2 on December 20th. So you can pick
Nice.
them both up if you haven't picked it up already.
Well,
So,
listen, I cannot always stress how great of a writer James is. I mean, I've loved his work since he showed up doing stuff for the New 52, and he just has just excelled. I follow him on Instagram. He is just loving everything he writes. And I just really love him embracing his horror. Like, he's such a good writer. We've already read Something is Killing the Children, which we all loved. It's a great series. And I've been enjoying what he did with Dracula, that little mini series that he's done with Image, and then this. Fantastic. Just cannot tell everybody, please support his work. It is just awesome.
oh, it
If
just
anybody
looks gorgeous.
wants the first print, it's not too expensive on eBay.
Oh, cool. Carrie, there you go.
Just saying.
Yep. I think there's a page of preview art, or well, not preview because it's already been released.
There we go.
But yeah,
Wow.
just a little bit. I like the very dark aesthetic with that. It's
Yeah, it's got a Black Christmas kind of feel to it.
Mm.
yeah, and the shadowing and stuff. It just it
Where's
yeah,
the
it
comedy
really sinks
relief?
you into that like ooh dark place.
Yeah. All
Yeah, I
right.
get
Well,
Tim.
It
so
seems,
you said December 20th, right, Carrie?
Yep, it
All
will
right.
be re-released on the 20th.
seems like there's a run on like dark Santa stories because
Yes. Yes, there
Yes.
is.
last year there was Silent Night. There's a new one this year. I forgot the name of it.
A few years back, there was the book Happy, which had a killer Santa in it.
Oh, boy.
Was that the one
Yes.
they adapted to a show?
Yes,
Yeah.
Christopher Maloney. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is. Oh my god, that's fucked up.
It's a weird show.
Yeah, it is.
And that's me saying it. It was too weird for me and Ange. We were just
I
like,
don't think. Yeah, I only watched the first season. I didn't catch the second
No, Jar.
season.
the second season got weirder.
Yeah.
Like, even Carrie would be like, this might be too weird for me. And I've seen
Really?
things.
I suggest watching it though. It's
Yeah. Definitely, Carrie. Definitely get 2 bottles of wine for that one.
Doso.
All right. So, Deviant, December 20th. Add a
Yep.
little blood to your Christmas, kids. Moving on.
Yes.
yeah, and try to find the first issue now.
Yeah. Now before it's later.
There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
this is you.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited for this one, obviously, because it's Batman. So DC Comics is set to launch a captivating addition to the Batman saga with the Batman First Night. It's a Black Label series. It's a 3-issue Prestige Plus crafted by renowned writer Dan Jurgens, famed for his work on Superman, Action Comics, and the artistic talents of Mike Perkins
Mhm.
for Swamp Thing and Tales from the Dark Universe or Dark Multiverse. So this is starting March of next year. Readers will be treated to a fresh perspective of Batman's origin story. Like, we don't need another origin story. I just love them. Okay, so it's offering a modern retelling of Bruce Wayne's transition to the iconic Dark Knight and his initial forays into crime fighting. So this is pretty unique. It's set against a 1939 backdrop. The Batman First Night dives into Gotham City, haunted by the shadow of the First World War, teetering on the edge of another global conflict as fascism creeps into America. Within the dark setting, Batman tackles a series of murders committed by men supposedly executed by an electric chair, challenging his detective skills and the limits of his physical prowess. So the series promises a blend of historical context, gritty noir storytelling, reflecting with societal fears, anxieties, and the time, while exploring the very essence of what makes Batman an enduring legend. So the first night, number 1, will hit comic book stores on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. It features a main cover by Mike Perkins alongside variant covers by Ramon Perez, thank you, Jacob Phillips, and a special pulp novel style cover by Mark Aspinall.
These look beautiful. So, look at that's fantastic. Look at that pulp cover. That is just straight up off some paperback in a dime store.
Yep.
This is, Leo, I have to say I'm also excited about this project. This looks stunning.
Yeah.
That artwork is gorgeous.
Mike Perkins, who I met at C2E2 back in the day, he did a lot of great work. If you really love his work, Carrie, he did all the art for the Marvel adaptation of The Stand. Beautiful artwork.
Okay.
Like, hands down, fantastic. Totally.
I will check it out.
This is amazing. I'm definitely going to pick this up.
Oh, it's beautiful. All right. Awesome. Can't wait for that.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, you already saw it because I skipped ahead, but Spider-Man.
Yes. So continuing this. So we've seen a lot about what we talked about with Spider-Man, but Marvel released a trailer that really showed the differences that we've seen with Spider-Man. And the variants for these, you will see Spidey as Symbiote 2099 if you're like a big variant fan. But one of the big things is that this showed that one of the 3 villains that we're going to see, because we've already saw Spidey, but we also saw the Green Goblin in this variant for Drew. This is the cover of variant 3, so we see him fighting the Kingpin, aka Wilson Fisk, who, if you know your Ultimate Spider-Man stuff, this was a big villain for Spider-Man during the Bendis Bagley General Ultimate Spider-Man run. So, but with the series, you really get an understanding that this Peter is a completely different one, because as we've seen that this was a world originally without heroes. Peter Parker lived a normal life. He married Mary Jane. He had his 2 kids. But now, after learning the truth, he decides to become Spider-Man. So this is very unique because we're seeing a Spider-Man who's choosing the powers instead of an accident. So, plus this artwork by Marco Ciorcetto, who is just fantastic. I cannot recommend his art. He did beautiful artwork during Chip Zdarsky's run of Daredevil. His work with Greg Rucka on his Punisher run was also gorgeous. Cannot recommend all this enough. And it's just a completely different thing, especially since we've already seen the trailer that Aunt May is also no longer with us in the Ultimate Universe. Some sort of event where we see her name on a stone mural or memorial. So it's a lot to unpack there. Still, it's super pumped. So you'll get to see all this when the books are on sale, January 10th, February 21st, and March 27th. If I haven't said enough, guys, I'm super pumped by this. So yeah. And I'm out of water.
Ultimate Universe. Oh no.
I'm super excited as well. I mean, I read all the Ultimate Universe stuff. It was amazing.
Yeah. And all right. Well, everybody, if you're a fan, please check this stuff out. And please ask your local LCS to put you down for issue 1s. You know that stuff's going to be high price. So
I wish I could read as fast as Carrie. I could get through all of Invincible in like a weekend.
Yeah, 3 days.
So jelly.
No kidding.
She's a brainiac. So, all right, next story. I believe it's Jars.
Yep. Arriving in comic shops late December, Timeless #1 is a collaborative venture between writers Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, joined by artist Juan Cabal. The narrative unfolds in a future world where Power Man, the last surviving hero in the Marvel Universe, confronts the ominous threat of Moon Knight Unending. A sneak peek with 5 unlettered preview pages showcases intense clashes, emphasizing Power Man's commanding prowess over the enhanced Moon Knight. The official synopsis for Timeless #1 unveils a devastating future shaped by present choices where an ancient evil, the Moon Knight Unending, rises to threaten all of time and space. Born of Stark Tech, the Eternal Machine, and the God of the Moon, the nightmare compels all of Earth to bow before its overwhelming power. As chaos looms, Power Man emerges as the Marvel Universe's final living superhero, wielding the unstable powers of Sentry, the Hulk, and Iron Fist. The narrative promises to delve into the dark, deeply personal conflict underlying this mind-bending apocalypse, leaving readers to ponder whether at the end of the line, the Marvel Universe can ever truly be saved. Additionally, the one-shot offers a shocking glimpse into the next year of Marvel's stories. So this is going to be a big issue, I assume, since it's going to fall over into what's going on for the next year of stuff.
Well, yeah, and Jar, just as a context, the Timeless issues, the last 2, which were by writer Jed McKay, have essentially been used kind of to end the year, but also hint at what you'll see in the next year for Marvel. So it's a kind of nice, like a bookend of the year. And the stories are usually pretty big. And then we've seen this team, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, aka their dual name, Hive Mind. They've been extremely up the rising ranks in both Marvel and DC, having done a bunch of novels, comics, and right now they're writing one of Leo's new favorite books, The Outsiders. So, yeah, so definitely going to be interesting, and I'm definitely going to check this out.
So we know that in 2024 they're going to kill off all the Marvel superheroes except
all of them. Yep, all of them. Yep.
Well, this is just one future that is possible, as
Exactly.
we always know in the Marvel Universe.
It's a Highlander thing.
You and your multiverse shit, you know?
Yeah.
Multiverse.
Yeah, multiverse. All right, what's next, Leo?
Yeah, X-Men Blue. This is Carrie.
Whoa.
Yes. Once again, we've been following this, and we keep getting new little tidbits and nibbles and stuff about what's going on with the new X-Men Blue. We're learning about what is going to happen now for Kurt Wagner and like his origin story, and going into deeper, like back into Mystique's history. And so they have the familial relationship. We already knew about that, but they're giving us Cy Spurrier, Marcus Tu, and Wilton Santos are giving us a new glimpse at Mystique, looking like she's having a bit of a mental breakdown as she's going through and recalling the birth of Kurt and the abandonment of him. And from what we're shown, it does look like Azazel was the father. She had an affair with him whilst married to Baron Christian Wagner. And she changed from her normal appearance into the blue skin upon first touching Kurt. And that led to a lynch mob chasing her down. She ran into the forest. She abandoned him. And then she's talking to Kurt about it and seems rather confused and looks back up and says that she had abandoned baby Kurt to go back and rescue her wife.
Destiny.
So, yeah, so it's a possibility that it was Destiny, aka Irene Adler, but at the time she was also married to the Baron. So,
right.
But we shall see this because it releases tomorrow. So
Yep.
we can finally get our hands on it and know what in the hell is going on. Because I've been following this now for a couple of months, waiting to see what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And then on top of it, you see some of this being hinted at in Cy Spurrier's Uncanny Spider-Man run, where Kurt, one of the few mutants still on the planet after everything that's been going on with Krakoa and Orcus, Kurt has been filling in as a temporary Spider-Man and gaining a lot of attention, which has had pros and cons, especially considering his mental state. And of course, Mystique keeps popping up, and she's very broken. So, and It'll be nice because there's been a lot of conflicting stories over the past, and I think it's always sometimes good for you to kind of straighten them out and finally have a story. But I feel that Psy is definitely going to have a story that still plays tribute to the originals, but it's still its own thing.
Yeah. It she's just a basket case at this
Oh,
point, and I
100%.
feel and you feel so bad for her because
Absolutely.
damn, she might do some crazy stuff, but it's all because she cares so much. She's just
Can't help it.
she's just a very emotional woman.
It sounds like an abusive way to tell somebody. I know it's bad, but I just care.
Yeah.
Wham.
Well,
We know you do, Jar. We know you do.
different kind of that she yeah.
All right. Well, Leo? Is there anything else?
There
to add?
is, but I was just gonna say I knew it all along going by that middle page there. Obviously, it is Mephisto.
Oh, it's definitely Mephisto.
Oh my God! Next. Yeah.
Drew, this is you.
Yep. And just to round out our stories, everybody, the big news. It is official. Greg Capullo is back at Marvel. Confirmed on his Instagram, revealing that he's working on a page that looks like he could be doing something with the Fantastic Four or just Ben Grimm, aka the Thing himself. He said, I'm officially back at Marvel. I just signed my contract. Let's go. We've already seen Capullo making a lot more effort into Marvel lately because we've been seeing a lot more of his covers popping up. There was even that free drawn Wolverine issue 37 that they did. So you have that variant, was at San Diego Comic-Con, then artwork for the Deadpool 7 Slaughters cover. So his work could involve First Family. So we already know this is not the first time he's done with Marvel. He did work with the small press horror comic that I know Carrie's a big fan of, Gore Shriek. He did that. That was some of his first work with Marvel. He did work on Quasar, What If. He got to do a great story that was What If the Fantastic Four Lost the Trial of Galactus. He worked on X-Force during Executioner's Song and Fatal Attraction storyline. Essentially, the big thing we have to understand is that he is not, we're no longer going to see Greg Capullo doing runs. He can't do it anymore. He's reached his peak. He's cool. If it's like a 3 to 6 use run, that's it. He said there's definitely some things that he wants to get done before he hangs up his pencil. He's working on some covers. He's doing a project at Marvel. And he said he's even possibly doing some sort of collaboration with his New 52 Batman death metal collaborator, Scott Snyder. Something that's they've been working on. But right now, make his a Marvel. And I am so pumped. Greg is a fantastic artist, and anything he does is going to look gorgeous.
He's like a rock star in the comic book arena. Like
He's really been everywhere. He's done DC. He's done Marvel. He was done Image. You know, I mean, he's really one of the most versatile artists I think that we see, and his style is great. It's very unique, very definitive, but it's still him, you know?
Well, also doing like 3 to 6 issue runs. You know how I feel about that. I think that's how they should all go now. But
I don't mind a little continuity, you know, but I do feel like it's kind of, you see when you have longer runs, you know, if you have the same artist, it really does help. Like a lot of my favorite runs had a 2-person creative team. Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man with Bendis and Bagley, Starman with primarily, up to a point, James Robinson, Tony Harris, John McCrea, Garth Ennis for Hitman, Spawn that he did with Todd McFarlane at one point. You know, all this had, again, it establishes the style of the character. It's just, you know?
Yeah, but continuity, they're constantly throwing it out the window. So I'd be happy to see it go.
But Greg back at Marvel is a huge win for Marvel. I don't know if it's enough to save because I know that things are still tough right now, but this is a nice something to look forward to among Marvel's 2024. So
it'll definitely bring me back to Marvel.
Yeah. So everybody, Greg Capullo back at Marvel.
Especially if he's doing a Fantastic Four. Like,
we'll see
about it.
What's that, Carrie?
Oh, it's that picture, like, as soon as I saw it, and since I've seen it, when I was putting him up, I've had Beastie Boys Sabotage going through my head for some reason. It just looks like he should be in the video for that or something, or at
Yeah,
least having a
it's
moment to
just a
it.
style.
Intergalactic
Yeah.
planetary.
Well,
Sorry, big fan.
well, that brings up another thing.
Sorry.
Where he's standing, the character, being Mr.
Mr.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
What? Just real quick before we wrap it up, what do we all think about Pedro Pascal being cast as
Oh.
Reed?
Okay,
Some
again,
people say he's too old, but I'm like, nah, I
No,
think
no.
he's
Listen.
a good age.
Leo, my policy is always clear. I make no opinion until I see a trailer. That's just my thing.
I like the choice. I think he's a little overused these days, but for Mr. Fantastic, I think it's a great choice.
My thing is, I need to see the team, Mister. Like you can have a great Reed Richards. You need to see the rest of the team, because you could have a great actor, and then you could still have people who don't fit the part, and then it just tanks the whole thing.
I just want to see the visual of what the thing looks like. As long as you have him looking like the comic books, I'm
Yeah.
going to be all in.
Yeah.
A friend of mine texted me about Pedro Pascal being Reed Richards, and I responded, "Well, that's a stretch."
Ah!
Leo, you almost made it. Get out. So why don't you, with that pun, why don't you end the night?
I love it. Hey, thanks everybody for joining. We had a great turnout today. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday. We're live, and then we try to chop things up as best as we can, and put them out in bite-size, little segments. and whatnot.
Morsels.
Yeah, little morsels. If you don't have time for the full meal, head over to our YouTube page for the morsels. And
Splash Pages Nuggies.
Splash Pages Nuggies. Well, anyway, you know me, just Google me. But more importantly, follow these awesome people. I run the Dorkening Podcast Network. There's a lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And head on over to thedorkening.com for more. Also, check the comments, or not the comments, but the show notes for a ton of information there for all our links. And we'll kick it over to Jar Jar.
Hey, it's the end of the show. I'm really tired. I don't know why, but I'm glad you all showed up. I did see that there was a ton of people in the comments and stuff. That's really cool. We all really appreciate it. If you guys like, subscribe, keep sending your questions and stuff. We really appreciate that, especially when we have creators and other people on. It is fantastic. You can follow me on Facebook at Jeremy Courtney, and check out Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, and Trade. It's a wonderful place on Facebook where you can buy, sell, and trade all your comics and geek collectibles and whatnot. And there's over 24,000 now members. And yeah, do all those things and talk to Carrie next.
Hey, you can find me by looking up Carrie Sanders. Oh, my finger doesn't go that way. Damn it. Foiled by the microphone. Okay, but looking up Carrie Sanders on Facebook, if you see an avatar of a crow, that's me. I am here with these guys on Splash Pages at the Dorkening. I am also over on the Owlite Network. I do a lot of storytelling type of things over there. Catch me there on Sundays, Mondays, and sometimes Thursdays. And other than that, look me up, get a hold of me. You'll probably hear from Jenny instead of me unless you contact me at my page. But that's and you can see my author page too if you'd like to read the things that I've written. I have some dark stuff out there. So yeah. Over to Drew.
Hey, everybody. If you're just wondering why we decided to end the show with me, I don't know. But as you can see, I don't care. But we're really glad you could join us tonight. As you can tell, we're a bizarre bunch, but we really enjoy that you all decided to spend 2 hours watching whatever the hell we talk about. We had a great guest, great news. It was absolutely awesome. So pumped. And if you need to get in touch with me, you can check my Facebook, my Instagram, which these idiots put down every show because they want me to support myself. I'm doing things. I'm very busy. I generally stop whatever who's doing that. Stop it.
My cat.
And yeah, I really have nothing more to say other than I hope you had a good time. And please, for the love of God, change the channel.
With that, we'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.